Welcome everyone to our Truck Night in America, live here from Pocono Raceway for the Pittsburgh Paints 400 and race 16 out of 28 on the Gainbridge Truck Series season. Folks, only 2 more races remain after this one here today at Pocono until the Gainbridge Truck Series chase. And man, oh man, folks, it is getting close at the cutoff line. Every week matters from now on. Last weekend, we saw New Smyrna Speedway where we had a heats and a last chance qualifier that decided our 25 truck field. Some drivers went home that were on the cutoff line. That's propelled guys onto the cutoff line like Joseph Wood now. Wood now at his home track here at Pocono Raceway is going to look to want to keep that momentum going and get inside the chase now. But this is going to be proved. It's going to prove to be a tall task for him because a lot of drivers that did not qualify, did not even qualify in the race last weekend, are now qualifying good this weekend. So, folks, this chase bubble battle is getting tougher and tougher week by week. And not to mention the track we are countering here this afternoon, this 2.5 mile speedway, also known as the Tricky Triangle Pocono Raceway. It is one of the more trickier tracks. It's called Tricky Triangle for a reason, but it is one of the more trickier tracks on the Gainbridge Truck Series season. With the placement on the schedule and the track layout itself, every corner is unique. You have to have your perfect stride, and it's just a lot to handle. You got this big, wide front stretch where you want to stay in the draft. You want to make those moves going to turn one, which is super wide, and then you have that tunnel turn where a lot of drivers make mistakes that typically get a little bit loose, run up the track, run somebody over. We've seen that in previous years, and we could once again see that here this afternoon at Pocono, but it is going to prove to be a great one here as we have a very, very stacked field, and we got a lot of drivers looking still to get their wins, and we've seen every week the field only gets closer and closer, and we've seen some great races. New Smyrna last weekend, a great short track classic, and now this weekend here at Pocono Raceway, 90 degrees. Last season we saw Peter Onjak, well, the weather is 90 degrees, and the last season we saw Peter Onjak get that win in that number 38. That's what kickstarted his championship campaign, and now coming into this year, it's a bit, quite a bit different circumstances for that '03 team. I don't think it's mathematically possible for them to make the chase this time around, so we will have a new champion, but he could look to go back to back in this race. It's definitely possible if chaos unfolds, which more than likely will with this series. We've seen a lot of chaos unfold the past couple weeks, a lot more cautions than we usually see. And with a track like Pocono, we're definitely going to see some more precautions this week as well, because this track is just so tricky and there's so many lanes to work with, so many lanes to manage that someone's going to definitely have an issue and it's going to stir some stuff up. So it's definitely going to be something to watch out for. Um, and Onjak wasn't even the one that dominated this track last year. It was Landon Laudenbach. So could we see a driver dominate? That'll be another question. And then we have that regular season points battle, Gutierrez Alfred. We have not seen these drivers go head to head at a race just yet. So far, we've only seen them capitalize on each other's mistakes. So I'm curious here this afternoon if we finally see those two go at it, or will one capitalize on another mistake and jump back into the lead, or vice versa. So it's definitely going to be a fun one here from Pocono, folks. That's all from up here in the booth. You got to look at the track. It's a huge track, 2.5 miles. But let's head on down trackside now and go over all the info we need to know heading in to this race here this afternoon. All right, folks, as I welcome you trackside here at Pocono Raceway, let's go over all the things we need to know heading into this race. You kind of went over a little bit briefly in the, I guess, intro of this race. I don't know what else to call it. That's the intro of the race. We went over a little bit of stuff we need to know in the intro, but let's start off with some drivers making their debut. Luna Bennington, starting in 20th in that 16 save flight Tundra, will be making her debut here in the Gainbridge Truck Series. So hats off to them. The 20th start is very good for their debut. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they do. And they actually start right behind Terry Bull, who just made his debut a couple weeks ago. So Bennington likely going to be looking to make some strides here at Pocono, and there's no better track to do it because Pocono is very unpredictable, and they kind of came in the right time as well because we kind of saw last year that Pocono, Watkins Glen, Indianapolis opens up a lot of opportunities for new drivers to make some moves. It's even New Smyrna. We saw Benson Pragio last weekend to make the main event. So, yeah, I'm looking at that 16 truck. Maybe Bennington could get something cooked up there for that number 16 team. They haven't attempted a race in quite a while, but they are this week. So I'm looking at that 16 truck and seeing what they could possibly do. Because it's a great opportunity. Watkins Glen next week. Watkins Glen last year was a field mileage race. Carson Miller almost won on debut, but instead it was Joseph Wood, who's one of the hometown drivers here tonight. So definitely going to be looking out for that 16. But something else to get into overall. Like I said, it is hometown drivers. The 41 of Aaron Abel starts on pole in his home race. I believe he's from Hershey, Pennsylvania. So hats off to Aaron Abel on getting the pole in his home race, and Joseph Wood, who's starting, I believe, ninth in this one. So he's starting pretty well in his home race as well. He's from Hummelstown, Pennsylvania. So two Pennsylvania drivers starting very well here tonight. And we'll see how those two do, because they're gonna have a lot of fans. There's a lot of 38 shirts. There's a lot of 41 shirts. But as we get into your point standings so far, you can see Gutierrez has the lead once again of the points. After his solid performance last week, he jumps up. Well, it doesn't jump up too much, but he jumps up a little bit over his teammates. But right now, Avery Alford and Aaron Abel both tied for second in the standings. Both have 576 points, while Angel Gutierrez has 579. And folks, Matthew Hubert's starting the second row here tonight at 506 points. So believe it or not, folks, the rest of the field is really in these racing motorsports guys. So I am very intrigued about how this race could go. If something goes bad for these guys, look at a guy like Hubert. Hubert gets 45 points, leads the most laps, leads the lap. That's 47 points. He's going to jump all the way up right to the back end of these guys. I mean, if they finish dead last, Hubert would only be a race within them. So this battle's heating up, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what could happen. You got Hubert, you got LaFleur, Rose is in there, not starting too well. Those guys, I think those three could have a shot at, really, maybe trying to pick off upset, but with LaFleur's mechanical issues he's had so far, these past couple weeks, he's gonna have to take a lot to really get back into this. But this 27 Matthew Hubert is reeling in these Racing Motorsports hundreds, and also as well, you can look at that number 7 battles in a row. He's looked very good. One of the best speedway racers in the series, sitting in 7th, right behind Caleb Rose. Those two have been doing very well. Then you got Carson Miller, Patrick Nolan, who's not starting too well here tonight, and Chris Martin still sitting firmly here, just above the cutoff line. But then you have Joseph Wood just getting in, jumping up 3 spots. Meanwhile, Raul Dorn drops 3. Patrick Raven drops 3. Jasmine Daniel drops 3. So that's not very good for Jasmine Daniel or for her or Patrick Raven. And you see a guy like Sestry jump up 4 spots into 13th. He had a great showing at New Smyrna last weekend on one of his home tracks. Out of the 3 Florida races on the schedule, so he's looking very good as well. And Ronnie Hauger now sitting in 11th, but he is on the outside pole here tonight. So it's gonna be a very tough and tight race down to uh not Miami, Indianapolis, and that's gonna be something to watch out for. And then you got Matthew Burnett in here. Then off the screen, James Daniel. Not off the screen. So not James Daniel. Jasmine Daniel. Not off the screen, but Patrick Raven 17th, 18th. Brandon Haynes 19th. Carl Young. So out of all the people on here that are off the screen, I think 6 and 36 will jump up. Um, and then I don't know. I mean, I feel like that 40 Chris Martins can possibly hold on to this chase spot, but as much as he's been consistent, he's kind of been inconsistent. But he's one of those guys that always has like a top 15 finish, I guess you could say. So I think he will stick in here still, but definitely going to be one to watch out for to drop out. But there's so many quality drivers. Patrick Nolan as well might drop off a little bit if he does not drive his way through the field, because he is not starting well here tonight as either. But yeah, we have a very interesting battle for the points lead. Aaron Abel now in second title with Avery Alford, but it's getting tighter and tighter. And if you see a guy like Matthew Hubert capitalize, he's definitely going to have the upper hand. If he wins here this afternoon, max out points, he's going to have the upper hand, because Watkins Glen could be a solid track for him, but Indianapolis, he won last year, and Hubert is known as a guy around huge tracks, even a track here like Pocono. He's the guy when it comes to big ovals, or I guess a big triangle. And yeah, he's gonna be something to watch out for. I know it's kind of like a broken record player when it comes to talking about this number 27 team and Hubert himself and how good how good he is at these tracks. But he legitimately is that good at these tracks, so he is one guy that you consistently have to watch out for. So yeah, that's our point standings coming into this afternoon. Not too much to go over. Once again, the point standings kind of stays a little standstill from 6th through 10th, so there's not too much to talk about besides the guys that are jumping up steadily. So as we get into this race, folks, we already kind of went over the fuel window. I think in the intro, if I did not, likely going to be around lap 20 to 25. Guys are going to try to stretch it as much as possible to make that run to the end as short as possible. So likely will actually be around lap 25 to 30 actually. We'll see honestly, but it is a 50 lap race, and with the threat of cautions, anything can really happen. So we'll see how it plays out ultimately. But folks, no further ado, let's get these trucks fired off and ready to go here, racing once again on Sunday afternoon. The last Sunday afternoon race we will have actually, folks. So we'll be back Friday or Saturday night racing next week once again, as we will be at Watkins Glen, and that's gonna be a busy race weekend, as well as we'll have the Indy 250 on AG the channel, the Indianap, the Char, wow, Coke, Coca-Cola 500 or Coke 600 or whatever on multiple channels, Nathan's channel, AG's channel, a bunch of channels. So it overall is going to be a very fun one. And then we have the Lime Car Indy 500, which I don't think it's this weekend. I think it's the next weekend after. But we'll all see that in the TV schedule that will be posted around. But yeah, let's get these trucks started off and ready to go here in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania.
Start your
engine! So as these trucks get fired up and ready to go for the Pittsburgh Paints 400 here from the Pocono Mountains, to be Aaron Abel leading us off as we will go over your starting top 10 in this race. So in row number 1 to be the man from Hershey, Pennsylvania, Aaron Abel, alongside him the 83 of Ronnie Helger. Row 2 will be Matthew Hubert and that 43 of Angel Gutierrez, the points leader. Row 3, Patrick Raven and the 82 Ricky LaFleur. Row 4 will be the 7 of Alexander Rowe, and that 37 of Theus Bento, the first age racing machine in this top 10. And you have the second age racing machine in this top 10, rounding out your top 10 here in row number 5. That's 38 of Joseph Wood from Hummelstown, Pennsylvania, alongside that number 23 of Carson Miller. So this is going to be a fun one here from Pocono. We're going to see how it plays out ultimately. Pit strategy, all that could be very interesting. But there are some rumblings as well that you could see as pit stops early as lap 15 here, with how it just depends how hard they go on the tires. No, tires can grind quite a bit, and if they go down too much, they could be pitting on lap 15. This is my second time recording this, and this is what I saw the first time. But yeah, so see how it plays out here. We aren't able to lead us to arena. There's a lot of 41 and 38 fans in the stands. How will this one play out for them? So as we make our way through, folks, only 2 more races left after this one in the regular season, but it'll be Aaron Abel alongside that 83 of Ronnie Halger on the outside, leading us to go green here in front of all these fans here on the front stretch at Pocono. The green flag is to be underway for the PPG Paints 400 at Pocono. Caution on lap number 1, the 7 of Rowe and the 6 of Patrick Raven get into it here, and that is going to be a race ender for that number 6, 7 likely. 6 and 7. Oh God. Oh, wow. But coming through the lead, lap number 1 is going to be 41 of Aaron Abel as the caution is out. But boy, oh boy, these restarts can cause some trouble. You usually think it'd be the tunnel turn, but no, it's the number 7 and 6 both getting into it. And 16 Luna Bennington caught a piece of it. The 23 of Carson Miller, the teammate of the 7, caught a piece. And the 7 of Alexander Rowe is going to actually be out of this race. But, I mean, we saw it happen, but we didn't at the same time. So, as Rowe makes his way down, let's go check out, let's get a better look at what brought out the caution on lap number 1 here at Pocono. So here with the replay, Raven 3 wide for turn number 1, and he just clips into each other and hard into the outside wall they go. And yeah, wow, a bunch of trucks caught the piece of it on the end of this. 75, 62. So get a better look here. Don't like going to replay menu like this, but yeah, I mean, he just kind of I don't know. That's an awkward angle for, oh, the 6 just slides up a little bit, and yeah. 6 somehow does not catch any damage, not too much damage at least. The 81, a bunch of trucks caught damage though. So that is the cause of your caution on lap number 1. 6 and 7 kind of a racing incident, just collide into each other, and now the 7 Alexander Rose is going to likely be out of this one, and probably his teammate as well. So is that an omen for the rest of this race? We will see, but that is what brought out your caution on lap number 1, folks. So we're back here live at Pocono Raceway, caution lap number 1. Don't usually see lap 1 cautions, but that one was quite a big one. And it's going to take out quite a few contenders here. As the 16 of Bennington in their first start's going to be out. The 23 of Miller. Wow, you hate that for Bennington. They just make their first start and unfortunately get involved in other people's mess. Started 20th in this race. Looking to make quite a name for themselves, but now they have to load back up for that 16 team and take it to Watkins Glen. But the 7 and the 23 will be out. That's quite a big loss for Vision Motorsports. But that is quite the caution here for lap number 1. And we'll see how this race off pit road plays out. We didn't see much on the lap. There's not too much to talk about, but as they all make their way down, we know fuel strategy to be quite a big one here this afternoon. And we'll see how it all plays out ultimately. But we could see a lot of separate pit strategy. We saw it last season, a bunch of separate pit strategy. But in this one, do we see it once again, is the question. So do some guys take 2? Looks like that is going to be the case. So fuel only. Just fuel only, trying to maximize the amount of fuel they can get out of this truck. So fuel only for some guys. I guess you could say the moral majority, actually. Yeah, everybody takes fuel there, so nobody gonna take tires just yet, but fuel looks like to be the name of the game. The 81 and 96. The 81 did get some damage from that caution though, so looks like Raven's gonna continue this race, luckily. But wow, you don't usually see it on lap number 1, but it does fortunately play out. But we'll see how it works here on this restart. Restart on lap number 4. I'm not sure if we'll quite get rolling that quick, but we will see. But I mean, that's lap 1 shenanigans, I guess you could say. 37 of Benza is still in 6th. Meanwhile, Wood still in 10th. Okay, so he's still running well. I thought he was all the way back here, but no, he's actually outside the top 10 because once this updates, we'll see him drop right out. But what a start to this race under caution early on. If you're just now joining us, folks, Patrick Raven and the 7 Alexander Rowe make contact. Rose out of this race, his teammate, the 23 Carson Miller. First time entry, the 16, not the 16, but first time, first start for that number 16 of Luna Bennington. And fortunately, she'll be out of this one as they just get caught in others' mess. And you hate that in your debut, but fortunately for Bennington, there's a bunch more opportunities to prove themselves left in this season. So see if Raven fully continues, but he did have quite a hard lick on that outside wall. So here we go. We should restart on lap number 6, I hope. Sorry for the silence, folks. I mean, there's literally not anything to talk about because literally was a caution one lap in, but we'll see how everybody does on this restart because we're gonna get a glimpse on what the preferred line on a restart will be. But the start of the race was pretty even, so yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Watch out, caught. Oh no, he's in the same spot. Some guys jumped up though. Rose jumped up into this whole thing. I think the 79 of Spears did as well. But that's a very early caution in this race, and that could be the theme of this afternoon potentially. But now the fuel run is extended longer, so how long do these teams truly go now into the pit cycle? We've heard of as early as lap 15 could be a stop, lap 25. So now how does it play out is going to be the question. But I guess we'll see here after this restart here if we get into a long run here. But we'll see if we finally get ready to go for this restart. So it looks like we will restart on lap number 6 here at Pocono Raceway. Early caution on lap 1. Time to re-rack them and get ready to go. So we saw a caution in turn number 1. We don't usually see that. Now, tunnel turns where we're going to likely see another caution here today because that turn is so treacherous. We didn't even get a look at it because the caution came out so early as Dorn. Gonna bring it down here for some issue, looks like. But tunnel turns we're gonna see most of the incidents occur. But a lot of guys caught damage on this this wreck, so it's gonna be definitely interesting to see how this one plays out when we get closer to the long run here, because that tunnel turn is gonna be a real treacherous spot. But in terms of long term here, who's gonna really fall out of here? Because that was a lot of trucks that caught damage on that restart. So it's gonna be quite a restart. That's we caught a lot of damage in that crash. Sorry, folks, I cannot talk at the start of this race apparently. But it will be the 41 of air-enabled man from Hershey, Pennsylvania, leading us back to green with that 83 once again on his outside, Ronnie Hauger. We'll see what the preferred line here is on the restarts, but we're ready to get back going here, kind of on a second race start here at Pocono Raceway. Caution on lap number 1, but here we go. Green flag back underway here, and the PPG paints 400. A3 Hauger is going to get a great launch. Doesn't enable. Look to the inside though here, going into turn number 1. No, Hauger is going to get a great launch on the outside. So he's going to push on through. Meanwhile, back here, I mean, this is just so much racing going on, and then we get our first glimpse of the tunnel turn, but you cannot go 3 wide in the tunnel turn, which we might see here in a second with a few of these drivers. But you'll see here, that tunnel turn is just treacherous. You got to really hard get in there. But they all keep it going there. They were going 3 wide for a second, but they do keep it going here. So we'll see how everything plays out. 38 of Haynes, 36 of Haynes, getting held up by that 38 of Wood on the outside. So I mean, it just varies on what lanes really work here, and that's what makes this track ultimately so special, because you can't just stick to one line. You have to experiment and see what's the best for you, and we'll likely see that a lot here this afternoon at Pocono Raceway. Meanwhile, Meteor is right on the back of this 83 of Ronnie Hauger, trying to get the lead here in that number 23 machine. Do we see him make a little bit of a dive bomb going into the tunnel turn? We saw that a lot last season. Does it happen here though? Doesn't look like he's going to quite have the run though going in to this spot. This could be the preferred passing spot for a lot of guys. So Bento up here into what will be 4th. Gonna have that 27 Hubert right behind him though. But Bento holding pretty strong here for Haynes Racing. Meanwhile, the 84 Patrick Nolan all the way up there into what will be 8th, which is good for him from where he started in this race. That's a very positive sign. So he made up a lot of spots in that whole pit road thing, and now somebody's come down through. I believe it was the 60 of Terry Bull. Yeah, he's gonna have to bring it down. So not a great start to this race for Spears Raven Racing. Now is able to try to get a look at that number 43 Gutierrez. Meanwhile, this 27 of Hubert trying to get a look on this 37 of Bento. So now there goes that 41 of Abel to the inside of Gutierrez going into turn number 3 here. Abel trying to regain that lead from that 83 of Halger. We'll see if he pulls it off here. But so far, close racing between these two in this race so far in this one. Just repeating myself, sorry folks. But just going to adjust this headset here. But as we go into turn number 1 once again, here goes Abel. It looks like he's going to clear him here. And now that 37 of Bento still holding shot at 82 LaFleur. One thing to look at that 27, doesn't quite get the look just yet though. But that fuel only stop was quite positive for some of these guys. But now Bento looking for 3rd from Aaron Abel. So on the outside that goes that 37, trying to get something going. Nothing quite happening just yet for that 37 machine, as he's going to run a little bit wide there. Does Hubert look for the pass here? Potentially he will. But if you're Chevy, you want to see yourself make these strides, get up there, up front in this race. And so far, they got some drivers doing that for Haynes Racing. And that 57 of Sanjay Vittoria is all the way up into what is 13-15. So he's driven his way up. That 98 of Caleb Rosa as well. Trying to potentially get a shot at this 42 of Avery Alford going into the tunnel turn. See if he does it. No, not quite. But lots of sails into that turn in this one. But they're kind of, also at the tunnel turn, you also want to kind of set up your next move into turn number 3, which we've seen quite a few drivers do in this race. But Hubert does finally get past that 37 of Bento, and he's going to push Bento down to 5th. Meanwhile, Hubert now trying to get 3rd away from this number 41 of Aaron Abel. Going to get back into line though. That 82 though, going to get a shot to the inside of this 37 potentially. Oh, and LaFleur's going to get into the grass there. And that's not going to work out for him, as that 37 is going to scoot right on the outside. You can't make that mistake. Wash down the track. And lots of guys will set up moves on you, like the 17 of Sustre here, trying to look to the inside, going to the tunnel turn of this 82 of LaFleur. So there goes that 17 of Sustre. Do we see contact? Yes, we do. Bumping doors is that 17 and 82, but they keep it going. So we'll see that quite a bit. A lot of bumping doors in that tunnel turn, but going back here, lots of guys who got damage still keeping up. So that 81 of James James is still all caught damage, but he's keeping up. But that 96 of Gale, the 75 of Benny Watson, 8 of Max Davis, the 6 to 60. All drivers that are unfortunately going to be held up a little bit. But this E3 Falcon still leads. We're closed up on lap number 15, which for some people would have been the first pit stops of this race, but it won't quite be at this time around. But as we make our way to the tunnel turn once again, this 83 might have this 43 right behind him, looking for the lead. Gonna send it here. Oh, it should be Aaron Abel though this time. So that was Aaron Abel working to the outside of that 43 into the tunnel turn. So that's quite a bold mover. But now taking some air off the back of that number 41 is that number 42 Gutierrez. Gutierrez can move on through. We've seen a lot of head-to-head battles between these two, but like we said, the top two in the standings for most of the season of Alford and Gutierrez, who've been battling for the points team, they have not battled head-to-head quite just yet. So we're still waiting on that for those two. But now Aaron Abel going to try to work to the outside of Hubert here, try to hold on to 3rd, which he will do a great job of. Wow, Bento going to work to the outside. Still has this 82 LaFleur trying to get past him, but nothing happened too much for him just yet. And Abel might be setting up the move here into turn number 3. If he gets a good run off the corner, which he will for a second. Gonna kind of fizzle down for that machine. Meanwhile, Hubert might get a look here. Gonna try to get third potentially. No, not quite. This track is really deceiving. As Haynes trying to make a pass back here on this 42 of Avery Alford. So Haynes now trying to jump into the top 10, which he will. And look to the inside while there goes Abel to the inside of the Gutierrez for a second. Nothing gonna happen though. Meanwhile, back here, yeah, just that inside line, not the preferred line to make a pass there into turn number 1. But that's not turn into the spot that you want to ultimately set up your moves for usually. Kind of breaking away is this top 10, top 15. These guys all back here are kind of pack racing. That 57, who was running pretty well at one point, kind of just slowing down just a little bit now. But here we go. Reaching lap number 15 in this race. Still quite a ways to go, but this was where the first stops are going to happen. Where will they happen now is the question with the pit fuel that was taken on the first stop in this race after the caution on lap number 1 if you're just now joining us. But now Alpha moved a bunch of spots trying to look to the inside of Sustrey. And now Haynes is going to scoot right on the outside as turn 1 is just not the passing opportunity you want if you're on that inside line. Unless you have a super fast truck, but now they encounter their first lap traffic here into the tunnel turn. 60 of Terry Bull here. As there goes the 37 of Bento, catching that 82 of LaFleur napping. Using this lap traffic as a little bit of a pick, but it's not going to quite work as now Bull's going to cross his nose coming onto pit road here. Nobody else going to follow, so Bull's just having to bring it down once again. That 99 of Orange is stuck on pit road all race. I think he's just going to be out of this one, unfortunately. He did have a bit of a fuel leak, and they've been working on that since the start of this race. But now the next lap traffic will be 6 of Raven, but that'll be probably about 10 laps away. But the 83 Valkyr still leads, got the lead off the start, but lots of guys still racing back here. The 17 of Sustrate looking to the inside of that 97 of Burnett for a second. About 84 Nolan's gonna bring it down, so honestly not too much of a difference here on fuel window potentially. We'll see if any others join up. 40 of Chris Martin's gonna try to undercut it, but do we see pit stops officially start here? As Alfred is really on the back of this 97. I mean, Alfred, he is just a crazed animal trying to get through these guys. He is moving quick, slicing the dice and being a little bit precise. But as we make our way through here, do we see these guys come down is the question. So here we go. Nobody gonna bring it down this time. So everybody's still pushing along, so this is gonna be quite an interesting run here. Some guys go for that super undercut, I guess you could say. But Haynes trying to work with that, trying to work on that 17 and all of them back there. But now up here, this Alfred's, does Aaron able to sit to the back of this one? No, not quite. But yeah, that 17 and 97 have been battling hard here so far in this one. There's a lot of Chevys up here. It's mostly Haynes Racing, but they're trucking along pretty well. As that 42 can run really wide there, as the caution is out actually. So we'll see what brought out this one. Oh, the 9 of David Dixon's got a tire cover off. See if anybody else was involved in this one. of Arcadia, it looks like. So this caution is going to come out at a pretty opportune time if they aren't a lap down already. For some of those guys who came down pretty early. So, oh. Huge stack up there, but caution on lap number 20 now. As Anderson Jr., I guess, is making their stop potentially. I don't know. But another caution, and 84 who came down to make that undercut now is going to be put in an interesting spot here. He's going to have to stay out, but that's going to be interesting to watch here. As we'll see if they bring it down, then we'll look at your replay. But a caution on lap number 19 if you're just joining us. And this one had a very eventful start. Ever since then, been quite a mellow. A bunch of battling between a few guys, while others not as much, as I think Onjack caught some damage in that wreck potentially. Or they're just figuring it out. That's what they're doing, I think. So we'll see who's coming on down, who's staying out. Of course, 84 stays out. Wise move by him. 60 of Bull stays out. But everybody else is going to bring it on down to pit road here. But do we see some 2-tire stops? Do we see some 4-tire stops? But if you're that 84 and 40, as you pace your way around, you're going to really hope to get in front of some of these guys. But luckily for them, their pit strategy pays out just a little bit for them. But we'll see if the pit stalls do have an effect here on these pit stops, as does Aaron Abel get a better stop than this 83 of Halger, or do we see some 2 tires of fuel here? So it's going to look to be 4 tires and fuel for everybody, actually. As it's going to be Halger, Gutierrez, Abel trying to top off the fuel, Bento, Hubert, Wood. Sheesh. 36 lost a lot of spots off pit road, but as they all make their way down pit road here, folks, we're going to go check out what brought out the caution on lap number 19 here at Pocono Raceway, and what has been quite a little bit of an eventful one to start off. But let's go see what brought out the caution here. So here's the caution, folks. Martins makes contact and then just bang into the outside wall in turn 1 once again. All these guys trying to make their way through. Oh, wow, Onjack somehow makes it, but David Dixon just unfortunately does not make his way through that. But, I mean, that was a pretty avoidable incident. Chris Martins there, you got to be more aware coming off the pit road. And he just kind of just comes on the track, makes contact with the 11 of Pato, and then the 64 Castellet and the 32 of Arcadia have nowhere to go. See some amazing dodges here. And the 9 of Dixon, I mean, you hate to see that for him, but tire cover off. And it's for all of an incident that was any but his own fault. As they're just, that's just a bunch of guys just running to others' mistakes. That 40 of Chris Martin's going to be kind of under some heat, because that's the source of caution number 2 here, actually. 2 cautions to turn number 1. That was not where I was expecting all the cautions to be. I was expecting to be in the tunnel turn, but man, have I been proven wrong so far in this one. But let's go catch back up with the live racing action. So as they make their way through, we saw that amazing dodge by Pato. But we're back live here at Pocono. 40 Chris Martin's gonna be kind of under some heat, because, you know, he did kind of just cross over, as the 03 of Onjack's gonna be out of this one, as well as the 52 of York Watson. So Onjack qualified well, but once again he's gonna DNF, and he is just having an awful season. And once again it continues here at Pocono, as that's gonna be another DNF on his season, as he's had quite a few of them. I think that might be his 4th, but we'll see how it all plays out here. It's going to be the 84 Nolan in the lead, unless these guys all bring it down here for some reason, which they all will, besides this 15 of Hallie Anderson Jr., who's not going to be in the lead. So we're close to the halfway point on lap number 25. So far, 2 cautions in lap number 1 and turn number 1. Besides that, pretty mellow racing, not as racy as I expected it to be, but we'll see if that changes here on this restart. Do we see some guys more so go at it than we saw before? But a little odd case why that 03 and an 84 Nolan, no fuel, so he's gonna be out. But a lot of guys out from that wreck there. The 64, the 9, the 52, the 84, the 30, the 03 of On-Jack. So this is just a whole gaggle. And the 03 and 52 kind of just retired for no reason. I'm not sure. They weren't involved in the incident, neither of them. So that sucks for York Watson and On-Jack. Both of them very dedicated team owners, but unfortunately they're just going to be out of this one for some reason, as we have a lot of DNFs in the first half of this one, folks. That's going to be, oh, including Dorn actually, because he's kind of just a DNF, but he just hasn't came off the road. So that's going to be 8 DNFs? Yeah, that's going to be, no, 9 DNFs. So wow, 9 DNFs in this one, and we're only a couple 20 laps in, and we haven't even seen the peak of the racing yet. These guys have been going very mellow for how it usually typically could be. So we're going to see how this restart plays out, and does this restart shake anything up here as we head towards the halfway point of this race is the question, because boy oh boy, I mean, they're racing hard in the back clearly with all these incidents. I mean, that one incident, that was definitely the fault of that 40 of Chris Martin's, but besides that, I mean, this has just been a crazy one so far at Pocono. The tricky triangle for a reason, but we 83 Ronnie Halger leading us back to green. We'll see on what lap it will be, but the pit strategy's kind of all over the way here. But we'll restart on lap number 23. So it'll be Halger leading us back to green. So far, led a lot of laps in this one. Can he continue it here? Is the question. We saw last year the 71 Atlanta Lineback lead a bunch of laps, but we got a late race restart, and that 38 of On-Jack took the win away. Of course, On-Jack, last year's winner, DNFs for some reason. I still don't know why, but it's 9 trucks out of this one, which is an unfortunate sight. You usually never see that, but that unfortunately is the case. And about 3 of them, I'm not sure why. So see how this double file restart plays out. Will we see any chaos? We saw the outside line be the line to run on the last restart, but how will this one play out? I am curious, does this 83 get a great launch on the inside this time around? Because it was able leading on the last restart, I want to say. But I mean, this is all over the place with this strategy. I mean, got to break the fourth wall. This is my second time recording this. Not as racy, I mean, whatsoever, as my first time, which is unfortunate. But we'll see how that plays on this restart. First recording, better cautious broken, so it kept having single file restarts. But this second one so far has been a little bit more mellow, but more respectful racing, which you like to see. But I mean, that could all pop off in one restart, which we might just see it here on this restart. As we're close to the halfway point in this race, we saw everybody take tires and fuel that time around. How long can they make it till? That's going to be the lingering question over this one. As pit strategies all thrown out the window, how long can everybody truly go? We don't really know, because we haven't really had we didn't have a real green flag run to start off this race. So now it is all shaken up here with just a fuel only first stop. But the green flag is back underway, as they're going to be quite even here. You see the helicopter cam going into turn number 1. Who's gonna get the lead here coming out of it? Oh, you just gotta arc it there if you're Halger. And that's not gonna quite work out for him though. And now that 43 Goodyear is gonna move it to Legion. Now that 41 of Aaron Abel right behind him though. Abel, of course, wants to win his home race. Wants to win from pole, especially. He's won the pole so many times this season, but has not been able to quite put it together. But with all the damage, yeah, Bull's still nursing around, but a lot of guys are falling off early off the start due to the first lap crash that took out Alexander Rowe and Carson Miller, where we saw a bunch of drivers collect damage from that one. As they make their way through, Gutierrez is going to lead lap number 23 here, gets the lead off the restart, so definitely you want to be on the outside line or be in second if a caution comes out, I guess you could say. And now we will see the 42 of Alford diving to the inside. Oh, this 83 of Halger for a second. don't want to try to pass turn one. You always want to try to set up a move in the tunnel turn, but we haven't quite seen much of that here. This after Bull is stopped on surface, so this bring out a caution here. As he's just lingering here, that's going to be something to watch out for. He could bring out a caution potentially here in a second if he does become a hazard on track. But now Gutierrez in the lead still. Of course, he has Aaron Abel right behind him in the points, as well as that 42 of Avery Alfred. Fortunately for them, everything's fallen to fruition as they've been able to really get their way up through here. And 90 of Caleb Rose has driven up in through here as well, so great performance from him and other guys. But that 60 of Terry Bull could bring out a caution here, and yes, he will. As he's going to stop right here on the end of tunnel turn. But that's going to bring out the caution here at Pocono. As I'm going to have a race back to line, as these guys don't want to make contact with the 60 of Bull, who's just going to be right here on the inside of the surface here. And he tries to make it, but just not going to be able to. And he's going to be the source for our third caution here, as you don't usually see that, but here at Pocono, that 60 not able to keep going all the slinger out that lap one instant. You hate to see it for Spears Raven Racing. They had such a great run going, but this 60 is just, yep, he gets a tow back to the garage. He's going to be done on this one likely. Damage too hard to sustain for that number 60 team. So that's going to bring out another caution in this one here. And this Pittsburgh Bakes 400. A lot of cautions in these past couple of races, but we'll see how long this one lasts. You hate to see how you hate it when these cautions last half of the race, but so far we've had a caution-filled first little half here, and we haven't been able to see much racing, unfortunately. So hopefully the second half of the race we can see more racing to the end, because this is quite a short one. This is a huge track, but it is only a 50-lap race. So it feels long, but it feels quick at the same time because of how fast these guys go around this speedway. So here we go as they make their way around. We'll see if anybody brings it down, but hopefully not. So we can get this underway. I mean, I'm dying to see some racing here, folks. I know a lot of you guys are. I mean, we saw that little brief green flag run, but we want to see a long run here. We really want to see how long these guys can really stretch these tires and fuel out, and how much will that play a part into the ending of this one. Because we're already at the halfway point, and we maybe have 10 laps of green flag racing action ran, so, you know, you want to get something going. But Gutierrez is going to bring it down. Does anybody stay out is the question. We don't really see that, but yeah, everybody's going to bring it all the way back down to pit road. Oh, the 80 of Nick Mahold's going to stay it out. Meanwhile, anybody else? The 40 of Chris Martins, 32 of Caden Arcadia. Anybody else? No, so those guys will all stay out here, so we'll see how that plays out for them. We could just see a fuel-only stop here, which I am assuming is going to happen because you don't really need tires here in this moment. You just want to top off on fuel. They're just burning so much fuel right now with the limited racing we've had that you just want to take fuel only in this stop. Yep, it's going to fuel only stop for a few of them. Trying to top off those gas tanks as a bunch of these drivers. Fuel only for, I believe, everybody. Yes, it will be. So, the 80 of Mahold should be in the lead. Yes, he will be. He'll be joined by 32 of Arcadia, I want to say. Yeah, Arcadia. Meanwhile, Martins, since guys did stay out, he will not get the wave around, actually. So, he's going to just have to fall back here. So, a fuel only stop there. We see 2 fuel only stops, and we've seen 1 actual tire stop. So, do we see some tire troubles linger here towards the end of this race? We know these future tires have had some issues a little bit in this series the past couple races, but how does it play out on this restart will be the question. As we're likely going to restart on lap close to lap 30, and even maybe on lap 30, and if we do, that's a 20 lap run to the end, and we've seen a limited amount of green flag racing in this one. So how will it really play out is the question. We'll see. Martin's going to bring down pit road. Meanwhile, these two of Arcadia and Mahold will stay out. I think they're hoping for another caution, I would assume, that gives them track position where they can just come down with everybody once again. We'll ultimately see, but I mean, this is going to be quite the restart here. Or do they kind of anchor it down and then hold everybody up will be the question. So this could be anything that happens restart here that shakes it up. But yeah, I mean, we haven't seen a lot of racing, unfortunately, this afternoon, folks. So I'm sorry about that. I really want to see racing. This is a great track. It does have some great racing, but right now we're not quite seeing that on display, as we're seeing about 3 cautions here. One for a guy who should not even been on the track, I feel like, that's 60 of Terry Bull. Meanwhile, others is just doing all-out chaos. So it'll be the 80 of Nick Mahold leading us back to green, which I assume will be on lap number 30. So I'll make it a 21 lap run to the end. We've seen a lot of fuel be taken, but how will the tires work out here is the question it's a question we're all wondering. We've seen a limited amount of green flag racing, so we do have a good green flag run here. A lot of guys are going to be putting their pedal down and just trying to send it to the end. And who will burn up that stuff and who will not? So, fuel is the name of the game here at Pocono Raceway, it seems. We'll see how it plays out here. As it'll be the 80 of Nick Mahold and the 32 of Caden Arcadia leading us back to green. Which I think on their part is a wise strategy. I think regardless, everybody should have one more stop left in them, but we'll see how it plays out. But I think this is a smart strategy by those two, as they won't have to worry too much. And even if they do, they just can anchor it down if anything. So we will come to restart on lap number 30. Be Nick Mahold leading us back to green, and the 32 of Caden Arcadia. Mahold and Arcadia both stayed out, so we'll see how that effect works out. Well, we won't really, actually, because nobody took tires, so literally won't be effect whatsoever in this one, as they should just be able to push it. They just probably can't push it as hard as others because they don't have as much fuel. But regardless, I truly think that everybody's going to have to bring it down at least one more time in this race. So the amount of laps that we spent under caution this one, we'll see how this restarts goes with these two up ahead. I haven't seen a Ram lead a race in quite a while. I mean, we've seen Alexander Rowe, but I mean, he hasn't led too many laps, mostly just trying to fend off that Red Bull, his own drivers, and the Racing Motorsports drivers. So you see the long list of DNQs, folks. If you've not been here and you're just now joining us, we saw a big wreck on lap number 1, caught a lot of damage for some guys, and ever since then it's kind of been a effect from that lap 1 wreck, as now we've had a lot of guys with damage struggle here on these restarts. And then of course we saw the 16 Terry Bull bring out our last caution. So much damage sustained from that lap 1 incident that he's now fortunately out of this race, I believe, as he just could not, 6 laps behind, but he's just decided he got too much damage on the machine. And then you got guys like the 83, the 84, the 03, and then the 52 who have all kind of retired for no reason. But here we go. Could this be the final restart of this race? We will see. It's been quite chaotic so far. Lots of laps under caution. But that is a tricky triangle for a reason. But can we get a good long green flag run to the end? It'll be the idiot Nick Mahold leading us back to green that BL Racing Machine. Now the 32 of Arcadia for Trident Racing Engineering on his outside. The green flag is back underway here at Pocono. Oh, and Arcadia issues on the start. Is that 32 good? Just no pace whatsoever. Oh! Wow! Wow! Ouch! The 98 of Caleb Rose, hard contact to the outside wall, the 57. And we're once again under caution as, Jesus, these guys can't make it through turn one whatsoever here tonight. Usually not the place that we see a lot of wrecks, but so far out of the 4 cautions we're gonna have now, it has all been in that one turn. As now as we make our race back to the line, it's gonna be just who knows at this point. I mean, get quite frustrating if you're a viewer because you just want to see some green flag racing, but unfortunately we haven't seen that. But let's go to a no cut replay here and see what happened, as it is our 4th caution. You know, 3rd or 4th caution, you gotta bring out the no cut replay because we're not trying to waste too much time here with all the cuts and whatnot. So we'll see what happens here. Arcadia just stalls it on the start. I don't know. And then, and then Benny Watson and the 57 of Vittoria. You can't go 3 wide around here too much. And Watson sent it in here. Oh, it just kind of comes up into the 57 who does not budge. And then, yeah. So hard wreck for those 4. But, yeah, I mean, Rosen sustained too much damage, I think. So he might be able to continue this one pretty well. But, I mean, so many cautions in this one. You just want to get ahead. You just want to get some green flag run, but that 32 kind of stalled off the start. We'll see how it plays out here this time around. Likely going to see some tires finally be taken by guys, but yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, usually this is quite a green flag race, but unlike last year, we're not seeing many green flag runs, and this is kind of unfortunate because it's such a great track where you see a lot of racing, but now we're just in a whole caution fest. And we already saw a bunch of cautions last weekend at New Smyrna where we saw 6, and now we're seeing 4 in this one. And before that we saw 3 at Charlotte, so we'll see how it plays out this time. We're running out of time for a real green flag run, that's for sure. If we do see another caution, we will move to single file restart because that's back-to-back cautions off the restart. So then it'll be single file for at least 1 restart unless they can keep it going. But that Terry Bowl caution does not count on the restart. That was our first good chance at a green flag run, and it happened because the guy was too damaged. But we'll see some guys bring it down here. We'll see separate pitch strategies, it looks like. So these guys are going to stay out. Here comes the 80 here from 42, the 38 of Joseph Wood, 33, the 5, the 8 of Max Davis. So separate strategies in this one. So ultimately, how will this all play out is the question. 11 of Pado's out of this one, so this is just a big incident list here at Pocono. But now all these guys are going to be on old tires, I assume, while these guys are all going to be on newer tires if they do take tires. Yep, so tires for the 42. Do they take 2 or do they take 4 is a question. So it's going to be 4 for these guys. Meanwhile, yeah, so it's going to be 4 for most of them. The 80 did not take tires. The 80 took 2 tires, I believe. So, I mean, this is going to be quite the run to the end. I mean, we have so many separate strategies, but I think for these guys, you're more than confident that you can make it to the end of the race. So this might be the race for the net lead eventually, but Max Davis all the way up in 22nd for Team Shamrock. He's having quite a run, and this what's been a caution-filled race. So we'll see if we can finally get a good green flag run to the end. But I mean, the way it's playing out, we could see overtime potentially. But Haynes all the way up to 4th, 3rd, Matthias Bento. So Haynes Racing Machines up here. This kind of falling into their favor, and they got one driver which I think is on the preferred strategy, which is Joseph Wood, because these guys are all going to have to bring it down. They're not; these tires are not going to make it to the end. If they somehow do, we're going to see probably some blown tires. But you know. So these guys are gonna second guess, I guess, and all bring it down. That's an odd maneuver. So, okay. So those guys are second guess and all bring it down, I guess. I mean, I guess you'd rather be safe than sorry. At least it didn't happen on the restart, but oh boy, these guys are all gonna bring it down now, and they're gonna be all behind. But now once again, it's gonna be the 80 leading, which you just don't want to happen with what we saw in the last restart, but. Tires, 2 for some maybe. Haynes takes 2. Bento takes 2. Long stop on the, yeah, 2 tires for most of them. So you guys, I think you just go 4 here for some guys, like 6 and Ravens taking 4, but man, this is, I don't know. I mean, I have no clue at this point because we've seen so much just split strategy that, I mean, some guys here took 2. Meanwhile, some guys took 4. Meanwhile, back here, some of these guys took 2. And I think if you're this whole pack here, maybe you take 2 the first stops down when they first came down. But if you're in the second cycle, that which we just saw, you don't want to take 2 tires. Just take 4 and just load it up. But I mean, we're gonna have quite the finish to this one, that's for sure. Caution field race. Can we have a 15-lap green flag run to the end? That's what we're all hoping for, I bet, because we have yet to see actual racing in this one. So, here we go. We'll see when we come to restart, hopefully this time. Because this, I mean, this is an unnecessary amount of pace laps, I can't lie, for this type of track. Way too big of a track, but so see if the lights go out here. They will, so we'll be coming to restart on lap number 35 here at Pocono Raceway. It'll be the 80 of Nick Mahol leading us to green on this restart once again. He's going to have 80 of Max Davis on his outside. Something tells you this restart should be quite chaotic, but if you're the 42, the 38, you guys are in a preferred spot, but this is all just jumbled up here. Hallie Anderson Jr.'s up here. This has been quite the race in terms of pit strategy. We've yet to see a green flag run to the end. If caution does come out here, we will not have double foul restarts. So, there's some guys here, you want to keep it clean because you cannot risk being in a single foul restart with about 10 to go with how long these caution laps end. So, we'll see how it plays out. About an hour into in-race action, so sorry, folks, for this caution field one. I mean, first recording was definitely a bit better than this. I'm sorry. I can't believe better cautions crashed the race, unfortunately, but hoping this one can be better. So it'll be Mahold leading us to green in that Ram machine. It's going to have that Guinness machine of Max Davis on his outside. I mean, if you're Max Davis to 15 or 5, maybe you guys do run good. Who knows? Maybe they do have something in the tank, but I just don't know. I don't know based off that last restart where we just saw a whole anchor be put down by that 32 of Caden Arcadia. So here we go, restarting on lap number 35. We make Nick Mahold once again. Oh, well, looks like it'll be single file actually this time around after those 3 cautions. I don't know why, but here we go. So officials like to just do a single file this time here to just prevent anything from happening after the last 3 cautions we've seen. So here we go, restart underway here at Pocono Raceway. The 80 is in the lead, but everybody gonna branch out now. 15 Anderson Jr. might want to get something going there. But yeah, that 32 is just an anchor on that outside line. Those guys just make contact. Vittori gets run into the wall by that 79 Dave Spears, but they keep it going up to that point. Back up here. 80 of Behold in the lead. Through the tunnel turn. Everybody backed up here. All these guys who pitted all backed up here now. As now Alfred and that 38 of Joseph Wood trying to make their way on through all these guys here. Joseph Wood, you want to catch this 42 napping. This is for the net race lead. Well, not net race lead, just the race lead period, because these trucks right here are not as fast as this 42 and 38 team. Almost one race removed from, one season removed from Joseph Wood's last race win. Can he try to pull it off here at his home track, Pocono, but he's going to be right behind this 42 of Avery Alfred. And to the tunnel turn we go. Alfred going to look to the inside of that 80 of Nick Mahold for the lead. Here comes Brandon Haynes as well. So all these guys are being held up, and Haynes is taking advantage of this as well. So the Haynes Racing Machines taking advantage of all this just, I don't know, up front here. But Avery Alfred in the lead, but he's got this 38 of Joseph Wood right behind him. But these guys are all anchoring it down right now, and this is just shaking this one up. If you're some of these dash trucks, you're thinking, what has this race turned into? As they are just all trying to get past this 01 of Lexi Herman. So Hubert's going to send it to the inside, finally get to the inside here, it looks like. Meanwhile, up here, Joseph Wood and Brandon Haynes trying to drive away here potentially. Not Brandon Haynes. Avery Alfred. Alfred definitely has a faster truck, but does Wood have some magic under that 38 machine? Trying to get Chevy its first win on the season. Meanwhile, Alfred trying to get another win, get the points lead potentially with how Gutierrez is performing right now. So 27, 83 are going to make it too. Here comes the 82. Sustry and all of them going to try to stretch it through here as well. But, certainly this has been quite the race restart here. It's now Haynes going to dive it down to the inside here. Just run it low because, most of these guys are slower. But we're coming up on close to 10 more to go. Right now, Alfred still leads in what would be a great opportunity to get another race win on the season. And I think he would be the most winningest driver so far this season if he does pull it off. Because he has like 3 already on the season. Yeah, he already has the most race wins, so this would be his 4th race win on the season if he does pull it off in that Gainbridge machine. But now that 36 of Haynes trying to carve his way through. But is there enough time for all these guys to catch up here and get into this party? Because now all these guys are running 3 wide here. So this is just one of those wild restarts that you typically see. So I'm sure these two can make it to the end. I'm not sure about everybody else, but we will see. These tanks have definitely been topped off too much. Or there's one guy that's good at conserving fuel, and this is 38. That's how he got his first race win at Watkins Glen or Floridian Motorsports in that 21 for TRD. But now he is losing quite some time to this 42 of Alfred. So I want to try to reel him in if he can, but now here comes this 36, here comes this 83, all trying to carve their way through here and get up into this battle for the race lead eventually. So Haynes now going to look to the inside of Max Davis, going to turn 3, going to try to set up a move here potentially. So there goes Haynes now. Behold's going to send it to, Osborne's going to send it to the inside of Ronnie Halger here. This might help out Halger running the outside, but no, Calvert's going to cover him off. So Ryan Osborne making his way through here, saying, I'm going to follow you fast drivers through. So now Halger going to try to scoot in front of that 92 now. But as we're coming to 10 to go next time at the line, how will this one play? Oh, engine out for, who is that? The 60 of why is he still on track? Get this guy off track, man. And that's going to bring out the caution. So I don't know why. Yeah, was it an incident or whatnot? I don't know, but that's going to bring out another caution in this PPG Paints 400 as it's going to be 60 of Joseph Wood for about the second or third time here this afternoon. I mean, not Joseph Wood, Terry Bull for the second or third time this afternoon. And sheesh, man, what a one this has been. We will be moving back to double file restarts here, but, I mean, I don't know. This was going to be quite the run to the end. So, I mean, we'll see if anything actually happens to 60 of Terry Bull. And then we'll get back to see if we have some pit stops with just under 10 to go here in this PPG Paints 400. We make our way through here. There actually was no actual cause. He just, for some reason, came back out on track, and that's actually going to be a black flag because the 60 has just been a moving chicane this whole race. And yeah, so hopefully they stay off track because that's about the second or third time they've had an issue and stalled it and just brought out the caution, and that's just not going to cut it that's not going to cut it in front of the NTNA officials because that's about the second time they brought out a caution just trying to do something. They've been hitting pit road every single lap since the restart. I mean, I get points are crucial in this series, but if you're Spears Raven Racing and overall, you just got to at that point, you just got to retire the truck because that's just, I would say, overkill at that point, but looks like we're set up for another late race restart here at Pocono. Will anybody bring it down? The 80's gonna bring it down. Hopefully we don't see these guys do what they did last time and just bring it down the next time around. Hopefully that does not happen because that's just ridiculous, but everybody thinks they can make it to the end for the most part. So hopefully I have no second guesses here for some guys. But if we do come to this restart, it's going to be the 38 of Joseph Wood on the outside of this 42 of Avery Alford. Alford looking to get his 4th race win on the season. Have 2 wins over everybody. Or over the next guy when it comes to wins. And he's having quite the dominant performance, I would say, so far in this, I guess, one green flag run we had that, I mean, lasted ever so shortly, but he's going to have his teammate Brandon Haynes on the outside as well for that 38, but then you have Ronnie Alger on that outside and 6th as well. So this will be an interesting restart for sure. It will be double foul this time, so we'll see how it plays out, but I mean, it has been like I did not expect this from Pocono. I don't know if we had this amount of cautions last season, but I just vaguely remember a very long run where we had maybe, yeah, we had only we had only 2 cautions, but it was an overall solid race last season. But this one, man, I mean, there's been so many cautions. It's proved to be a good pit strategy one, but besides that, we have not seen too much racing. So Carl Young trucking it up here. Joseph Wood, Brandon Haynes, Hallie Anderson Jr., for God's sakes, is up here. But Ryan Osborne was hauling them through. But yeah, it's just been one of those days where I said that lap 1 wreck might be a bad omen for the race to come, and it proves to actually be the case here. So now what we don't want is these guys to pit off the restart, which should hopefully not happen. But if I assume everything goes well, we should be going to green on lap number 44 here. So now we'll be going green on lap 45. So that'll set us up for a 6-lap shootout to the end and a possibility at green-white checkers, which is AKA overtime for the 2nd week in a row. Which I'm sorry, folks. I mean, I should be apologizing because, you know, caution-filled races happen, but I mean, back-to-back races with a lot of cautions. I mean, the stakes are a lot, but I mean, we had 25 trucks and we saw that many cautions. This week we have 42 trucks, but we have at least 10 trucks out of this one. This is just that. I said that lap 1 wreck was going to be a bad omen, and it proves to be that. This is a great track with great racing, but unfortunately, we're not going to see it here this week, as as we've had about 4 cautions where every caution lap is just overextended for some reason, as we have to take 5 laps every caution for some reason. So see what transpires on the restart, which should be on lap 45. Can Joseph Wood get his 2nd career Gainbridge Truck Series win, or will be Avery Alford getting his 4th career Gainbridge Truck Series win? Or could it be Carl Young getting his 2nd Gainbridge Truck Series win? I mean, he's probably got one of the most forgettable wins in our Truck Night in America history, but he did win Las Vegas in season number 1 in the 25. Meanwhile, Brandon Haynes, unfortunately, it's been the storyline for this season and last season, yet to get that first race win, but he's like the most successful driver without a race win, even over Angel Gutierrez. If you go through these past 2 seasons' success, that 36, the one driver who's just not quite been able to get that first one in the bag. Can it be here at Pocono here today? We'll see, but something tells me this one's not going to quite be over just yet. Because Brandon Haynes and Raul Guldorn were the only 2 drivers to not have a win in the chase last season. Raul Guldorn's already achieved that feat. He got a race win at Atlanta earlier this season, which he dominated that race. It looked like prime Kevin Harvick, but fortunately for Haynes, he's not been able to do it. But can it be Avery Alford for the 4th time this season? Or will we see a 2nd time winner from this 38 or 33? We know this 42 to be very aggressive, so he's going to be putting it all on the line on this restart. That is for sure. So here we go, folks. Coming to the restart. Gonna be Joseph Wood on the outside of this 42 of Avery Alford. But this could not be the last one. Two Haynes Racing trucks on the outside. You got a Toyota and then a Ford and then another Toyota on the inside. There's a lot of fast drivers on that outside line. How will this one play out going into the end? Here we go, folks. A restart with 6 to go now. And the PPG Paints 400. Who will it be? But here we go. The green flag's gonna be back underway here at Pocono. Young kind of stalls it on the inside on the restart. So they're just going to be all stuck behind him a little bit. And then to turn number 1, who will it be? It'll be the 3 to Joseph Wood and Brandon Haynes moving into 2nd. The 2 Haynes Racing machines. Can they hold on though with just a little bit more to go in this race? Side by side now is Ronnie Hauger in this 83 and this 42 of Avery Alford. As they make their way through, it's the Pennsylvania man of Joseph Wood. But there goes Brandon Haynes to the inside. He has said, I have waited a long time, and I'd be damned if my driver takes it from me. Can Joseph Wood hold on and put a little bit of a barrier, though? But here we go. Coming to 5 to go at the line. Brandon Haynes leads. Can they all make it to the end is a question, though. Alford gonna get past Hauger potentially here. No, Hauger's gonna work back to the outside. The more they battle, the more this 36 is gonna drive away. And now Hauger's gonna move through. Can Joseph Wood set enough of a block to hold off this 83? This 83 is gonna be moving like a madman to get through here. coming to 4 to go at the line. Chevy has not achieved a race win since the season finale at Homestead, Miami, but this 83 team is trying to make it still there as he is trying to close up on the back end of this 38 of Joseph Wood. Haynes Racing, their other driver, Diaz Bento, has struggled in this one. Hell's having a great performance. He was the highest runner of these three. But now, in this moment, in this spot, these two are now in the top two. Haynes, like I said, has not gotten a race win yet so far in his Gainbridge Truck Series career. But now Hauger trying to work to the inside of this 38 of Joseph Wood. But here comes Hubert working to the outside of that 83. Coming to 3 to go here at the line. Trying to hold off this 83 the best he can, just Wood, but there goes Hauger to the inside. But this outside line usually is the preferred line into turn number 1. And it will be this time, as now Hubert might work to the outside of this 83 of Hauger again for 3rd. He is going to get past them now. Can Hubert upset them? It's been a while since Ram has been in victory lane. It's been all the way back since Auto Club in race number 3. So now Hauger's going to have to work past them to work past this number 27 and 38. But now can this 27 of Hubert get past this 38 of Joseph Wood? But we're coming to 2 to go here at the line. 2 to go here at Pocono. Wood has gotten a great run. He's on the back with his teammate. Wood's going to look to the inside here. 2 more to go here at Pocono. But Haynes is going to storm back on the outside, but there goes Matthew Hubert. Hubert's got a fast truck. Can Haynes hold on? Hubert to the inside in the tunnel turn. 2 more to go. Can Haynes hold on? He's got to do it for 1 more lap. Hubert's not going to get the pass off now, but he's going to get a good run heading to the white flag here at Pocono. 1 more to go in this race. Can it be the first time for Brandon Haynes, or will Matthew Hubert spoil the party? 1 more to go. And to turn number 1, Hubert going to try to get a run on the back of this 36. Not going to quite happen there. He's going to have 1 more shot likely into the tunnel turn. Can he set up a move? Just a mile to go for this 36 team. It has been a long time coming for Brandon Haynes, but he's got 1 more quarter to go if Hubert does not make a pass going into turn number 3. Hubert to the inside. He's not going to get it though. Making his way out of turn number 3. Brandon Haynes for the first time in our Truck Night American history going to win his first race. He's going to win the PPG Pace 400. He finally does it. Brandon Haynes gets his first win. He finally does it. A long time trying for this 36 team, but they finally do it. A season and a half of trying, and it comes all the way down to the race number 16 in season number 2. He's been close so many times, so many runner-up finishes, but he finally does it. Joseph Wood finishes 4th in this one. Ronnie Hauger and Hubert finished 2nd and 3rd. What a mad dash to the end. Hauger didn't quite have it. Leads the most laps, but falls under the Landon Laudenbach omen as he leads the most laps, but unfortunately does not bring it home. But it will be the 36 of Haynes finally getting his first career Gainbridge Truck Series win as he finally pulls it off. And Aaron Abel's engine's going to blow coming to the pits, but he should be fine if they figure out what the engine is. They're going to try to put that out quickly. But your top 10 LaFleur, Carl Young gets a top 10 out of it. Gutierrez, Skylar Sustre gets that top 10 for Spears Raven Racing after all the troubles they had. But man, oh man, Haynes finally does it. He gets his first career win in our Truck Night in America history, and it happens at Pocono Raceway. Folks, let's get into the results here at Pocono. As we get into your finished results of the race, folks, sorry for the awkward view. For some reason, my original recording of one of the race results did not quite uh, actually recover for some reason. So, we get into it though, folks. You can hear it was just an amazing finish. You can hear the emotion in my voice. It's been a long time coming for Brandon Haynes. Working so hard. This is a big uplifter for the Chevy camp as a whole. They have been not able to do it this past couple seasons, but they finally got the race win. This whole season, it's been Chevy's been down, but finally they come through. Joseph Wood and Brandon Haynes, both fighting hard for chase spots, and they both come through to the end. Wood does finish fourth. Unfortunately, does not do a Haynes Racing 1-2, but man, oh man, it was just an insane race. And you can see there were so many drivers out. There were so many cautions. 20 laps of cautions. Nearly half of the race was under caution. So yeah, it was definitely a caution-filled one. But as we get into, yeah, you can see lead change of 9, 7 drivers. So a lot of drivers led laps, but yeah, that lap 1 caution, I said it might be a bad omen for the rest of this race. I said it might be a bad omen for the rest of this race. Unfortunately, it was a bad omen. But yeah, this was a track where there's some good solid racing under the green flag where there's not a lot of passing for the lead, but everybody's duking it out. There's a lot of contact, all that. But yeah, so Haynes gets the win. He finally does it. Halger finishes solid. Joseph Wood, of course, in fourth. That's going to propel him up in the chase standings. Skylar Sustre finishes eighth. Alfred finishes pretty well. Carl Young finishes 10th, all the way from 29th. Even Orion Osborne, William Ayers, all these guys finished really well. Matty Burnett was up there for a while. Bento, unfortunately, does not have a great run towards the end, but his teammates pull through for the Chevy camp, finally getting their first win of season. Number 2 for Chevy as a whole. Sarah Taylor from 40th to 16th. That is an amazing run. Nick Mahold from 33rd to 17th. Fortunately for Nick Mahold, he was having a great run at the front, but he kind of stalled off on that one restart. Guys got guys like Vittoria, Hallie Anderson Jr., Max Davis, Benton Pragio, Caleb Rose, Benny Watson, who were all running up there at some point during the restarts, but unfortunately they all fall behind. And you got a guy like Chris Martins who's just had a very lackluster day, and then Patrick Raven as well, who's usually going to continue fall down the standings. But then Caden Arcadia unfortunately has to retire late in this one after having such a great run, but his truck was pretty slow though, so it was kind of expected. And then got Terry Bull, who had his issues, finally retired the truck after bringing out 2 cautions. Then we had on Jack retire Emily York Watson. I'm not sure why those 2 retired. We'll have to figure out more, but they literally didn't get involved in anything. But yeah, folks, here's your results from this race. Unfortunately, Todd Gordon Castle, he falls down too. And Rob Woodward, who just sits on pit road for most of the race trying to repair that truck. But that is the race results from Pocono Raceway, folks. This is Charlie Davenport signing off from our Truck Night in America. I'll see you all next week at Watkins Glen. Finally, I think we'll be back for our first Friday or Saturday race in a while. We'll finally be back to our Saturday races or Friday races, even midweek races as we enter the summer. Who knows, but we are finally going to be back. And there's going to be a chance for Brandon Haynes to go back to back. He's very good at road courses as well. Can this finally start a hot streak for that 36 team? But we'll see how it works out. It's going to be a busy racing weekend. You'll see it on the TV schedule. But that is all from me here this afternoon, folks. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Whatever action we have left, maybe the Cup Dover race. I don't know. We'll see. But see you all. Have a great Sunday night and have a great week.